Coach Clue starts with an opening statement.
New season of basketball. We're definitely excited. I want to first say congratulations to all those that made all SEC honors, whether it be the coaches poll, the AP poll. Definitely a great accomplishment for our conference, and obviously there are some names that got left off of both polls, and it just says how difficult our conference is, and it's a great accomplishment when you do get recognized, because every award, although bearing an individual name, is a team accomplishment. So I want to say congratulations to everybody on those accomplishments. This part of the season, you mix it with tournament, you mix it with postseason play, but you also mix it with young coaches getting opportunities to get jobs, right, which are great. So I've made calls of congratulations already to a few people that I've known for a long, long time who've finally moved over a seat from assistants to head coaches. But you also make the calls where you hurt for people because they've lost jobs. And, the realities of it is tough. It's not easy. It's a big change for some people because they've given their lives to the game of basketball, to young people, to coaching for so long, and then they wake up the next day unemployed. So my heart is always there for those coaches as well. I usually extend myself a great deal to make sure I'm always giving back, not only to student athletes, but my fellow coaches out there. So that's the time of the year we're in. Ultimately, you got to balance it all, and here we are excited about our opportunity moving forward in Nashville at our SEC tournament.
Questions for Coach?
Dennis, all year, good or bad, there's always been a tomorrow, right? Like, no matter what happened, you always knew you had another game. How does the mentality from the staff and from the players have to shift when now you're getting into the point where there isn't necessarily a next game?
Yeah, it's those things you talk about in a dark room by yourself as a head coach. How do you prepare your unit each year to do so? And we build a plan out, and we start the execution of that plan in June, once everybody gets in one room with a lot of light in it and you see the pieces. So you put your team in situations mentally, physically, and emotionally to make sure that these habits become habits, and they stand by your side no matter the score, no matter what's going on. And each game, especially once you get into SEC play, with what's on the line as it relates to seeding, it also deepens that reality and prepares you even more as you seek a regular season championship. So once you get there, you hope that you've instilled the details, the discipline that it takes to win championships over the weekend. I've been fortunate enough to win as a head coach, a conference tournament and a regular season. I've been fortunate enough to do it as an assistant. So now as a head coach at Missouri, that's our goal. And we have not accomplished a regular season championship under my watch here, and we have not experienced one in the postseason tournament. Being able to get a double bye our first year prepared us, and we got close, but we didn't accomplish it. And there's no record for no team in the postseason. Everybody starts 0-0, and you have an identity, but also you have an opportunity if you don't like your body of work, meaning the little things that may have creeped in, you have an opportunity to right those. You have an opportunity to get better. You have an opportunity as a player, if you were in a slump, to get out of that slump and reset. So these are opportunities, and in this conference, there is no team that's safe to just advance just because of their seeding. I can tell you that. So day one of our tournament is going to be just as difficult as day two. Day two is going to be just as difficult as day three. And you get to that semifinal and championship, teams have earned it. They stay healthy, and they've been mentally resolute to be able to move forward past the double scouting, the live scouts, the familiarity. I just hope it doesn't hurt our conference as a whole when it's time to get into the big tournament afterwards.
Dennis, what do you kind of lean on in a tournament setting where you have so many options for opponents and you're kind of facing each other every day? What do you guys lean on as a group when you have so much change day to day?
You lean on your core values. You lean on your identity. You lean on the things that you know you do well. Two teams can play well. One has to win, one has to lose, and you just want to go out and give yourself a chance. Just because you may start out a game hot or cold does not mean that's going to be the temperature of the game throughout. You got to fight every possession, every second, every minute to remain on top of or put yourself in a position of victory. So for us, we don't take it lightly. I don't take it lightly. Our team and our approach to our staff, we've been preparing for those moments for a long time, and we have the pieces in the locker room. There's no doubt about it. We've shown the resolve. We got to do it over a weekend and play a good brand of basketball and not have self-infliction or making our own mistakes.
How does the process of building a game plan change for you during a tournament where you might not know exactly who you're playing, or if you do, it's a much faster turnaround than during the season?
You can't play the game of let's change signals, let's change calls just because somebody's live scouting. Teams know who players are. They know the tendencies. Basketball is a unique game where improvisation and talent and instincts have to take over. For us, it's important that you continue to put your team in those situations in practice every day. Our players know each other's games. So, yeah, I'm not trying to fool our players. I'm going to call the same call loud, let everyone know what call is happening, and let's stop it. But also let's execute it. So those are the situations that you got to understand takes place when the opponent or the future opponent, even not just for now, but the opponent's trying to get your play calls for next season. That actually takes place, guys. So for me, it's watching the entire makeup in live play from the sidelines while you're able to focus on your opponents and not look at your opponents on the same sideline that you're on in the game. So you provide yourself with in-game scouting, but also now you get to live scout and be a fan and see certain things with a certain view. So for me, we approach it that way in practice. We've constantly put our team in situations where adversity hits, but also the SEC conference provides that in regular season play, different scenarios with close games. There's a stat where there was 54% of the home teams won the game this year in our conference. And it's the least amount of home court advantage percentage out there in any Power 5 conference. So that means, I want to say 46.8 to be exact, 46.8% of road teams won games in somebody else's environment. That is a very, very difficult thing to do. In our conference, it means that just because you're at home, you're not safe, but also it means teams prepare, teams withstand the adversity of a road contest, and obviously people have this theory of the home whistle or the road whistle. It says games have been parallel, equally reffed at home and away. So for us to know that we have these things, these elements, but also this data from our conference, it says where we are in the scheme of opinionated voters who don't watch every game. So that's sometimes why I feel for kids who lose out on opportunities. It's so many great players, there's not enough spaces for accolades, but also it just says, our conference is very, very competitive, and that's just something that takes place.
Dennis, having coached at mid-majors, sometimes in one big conferences, is there anything in regard to mentality or approach that you've been able to
So one bid leagues, I think when you look at it, there's only one way to get to the NCAA tournament. And no matter what has taken place, whether you have been the preseason #1 team or you've been the preseason last place team, you have a shot to win in that tournament if you can get your locker room on the same page at the same time at the mid-major level. There's wiggle room a little bit because sometimes there's injuries, sometimes there's not, that can derail high major talent. And at this level, you still have to put games together. Now, as it relates to protecting the seeding, rightfully so. Our double bye teams earned that right. Our single bye teams earned that right. But it was one game that could have shifted the entire complexity of our bracket. That is scary. And I don't know if any conference have gone through not knowing from 3rd to 10th place or 11th place. We all had to find out on the last day. I don't know what conference went through that. I think the top 5 may have been selected, or the top 4, then the middle 4, and then the last 4 in some conference. But that much arrangement happening all at once, it goes back to the margin of error you have, which is not easy in a weekend, versus mid-majors. Those are similarities. You don't have the margin of error that you think you have, but you can see another day based off your body of work over 18 games that can get you to the next step of the tournament. So some teams don't want to, as silly as it seems, concentrate on the conference because it's grueling. The conference championship, they want to focus on the NCAA national championship. Some may benefit to have a shorter duration, some may not. You won't know until it's all done, and you can say where, A, if you've won a national championship, or B, how it have helped your fatigue, if it's kept you away from injury or not. And sometimes you got to be careful for what you wish for. So we try to stay in the moment.
You were talking about knowing players, knowing scouting reports. How have you seen defenses change in the last couple months? Because 2 months ago, there probably wasn't a lot of film on T.O. and maybe not a lot of scouting reports. How have you seen the defensive approach to his game change in the last couple months?
T.O. is a very interesting prospect, very talented. There's not a secret what he does. His tenacity gets the things done of what he can do. His decision-making gets that done. It's almost like a running back who sees just a little crack and he just is able to manufacture that crack into probably the width of a door. And T.O. has a unique physicality downhill. It's imposing, and he's not taking a step backwards. So the way the game is being called, there's not many on-ball charges that you can take. There's not many charges around the circle because you have freedom of movement. 6'5", 220, that usually stops himself. There's not many his size that play his position. So I want him to stay aggressive. I want him to continue to push his talent level. I want him to push his body to a place it hadn't gone before. I want him to continue to lead his team, talk, communicate, and also understand that he got to play both sides, and that's what he does. Just as good as he is offensively, he's good defensively. But ultimately, I think when you look at the scouting report, this is a game of basketball. Players got to make plays, use their instincts, and he has a great instinct to change directions on a dime. He has a great instinct of body control, and those are intangibles that allow you an advantage, especially when you have a ball in your hands.
Coach, when you talk about the self-inflicted mistakes, how much can you do at this point, or what can you do to correct that heading into tournament play?
Well, I do a lot. I mean, I do a lot with that, man. I don't leave things to change. I work my behind off every day, and I'm gonna continue to do that. And I'm gonna watch as much film to prepare our team, meaning enough film on ourselves from practice to games, as if I'm playing against me. So there's a lot of self-scouting that goes on, trying to get into the mind and the head of the opponent of what they're thinking you're gonna do, or at least what weaknesses they see. And I'm gonna watch a lot of film on our opponents trying to prepare our team. But from the mental and emotional part, I have to be the best I can be for my team to make sure we withstand different obstacles. We make sure that the right disposition is on the court at the right time, that you almost catch lightning in a bottle to know that you have to get a kid prepared to make an impact. It's not just on the kid. So when you look at our changes in our lineups, I've had to coach kids in a way of getting them prepared to be a starter, but also getting those that used to start in a prepared way to get them to be a contributor. And it all just says, be prepared when your name's called, be prepared when your number's called. And that's real coaching to me, because a lot of people would lose their team with the amount of changes that we have made this year for the sake of the team. Now we're gonna continue to do it because ultimately different obstacles come up, injuries come up, kids get healthy, but I'm just thankful we're where we are now compared to where we were when we wasn't 100% with key personnel on the floor at the same time.
One final question.
You all have been a different team, home and away. No more home games left. What can you learn from some of the road trips and neutral site games you played in the regular season, feed into the back half of the season?
Well, we've had some good wins. That's a good question. We've had some good wins on the road as well that I'm proud of. It showed us who we could be consistently, as well as we had some home defeats that didn't get us too far down. So I want our team to kind of stay in the middle to make sure we know what the reasons were, and now we can talk about those reasons, execute those reasons. It's almost like getting an opportunity to take the test again, so to speak, and that's what this SEC conference is about. There's not one team that you've beaten that can't beat you. There's not one team that you've lost to that you cannot beat. You got to do it when a referee throws that ball up. You got to be prepared to be the most resilient team, the most connected team that you can be for that duration of 40 minutes. You got to get the scouting report from the 40 from jump ball to the end of the game with consistency. Basketball is not meant to be played perfect, but you got to recover from the mistakes when they do show up. Emotionally, only 5 guys on your team play at once. So emotionally, those guys that are subbing in, they all would love to start. They got to be stars in their roles and be able to cheer each other on and understand that our concerted effort is more important than our individual feelings.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, MIZ.
Thank you.